Then we have retention. What exactly is retention? Like we discussed earlier, retention is nothing but if you want to retain the content, keep the content. If you want to delete the content, get rid of it. Okay. So we can have this retention. First of all, we create retention labels and then we create retention label policies. So retention, from where we can manage this, it's a part of data lifecycle management. So basically, in Purview portal, I should be able to see this option, data lifecycle management, because it is a part of data lifecycle management where we get to see retention related settings. We have different retention policies. First of all, we have retention labels and exchange retention policies are there. Retention tags are there, right? So from here, you can set up retention policies for different workloads. SharePoint, OneDrive, Copilot, Teams. From here, you can set it up from Exchange, right? So if I quickly navigate you to retention labels, these retention labels are available and you can create your own label as well. So that will be retention label. You can create this label and you can publish this label. Okay. So it has name, description for users, description for admins. So this is the name of the label your users will see in the application where it's published, like Outlook, SharePoint, OneDrive. So be sure to come up with a name that help them understand what it's used for, right? Name, description for users, description for admins, define label settings, retain items forever for a specific period, enforce actions after a specific period, just label items. Okay. So for example, I want to use this option, first option, that I want to retain the items forever or for a specific period of time. Okay. Then retain items for how many days? You can select years or you can customize this or you can also select this for your option. Your items will be retained forever. Start the retention period based on when it was created, when it was last modified, when items were labeled, right? Employee activity. Different options are available. Then choose what happens after the retention period. Delete items automatically. Start a disposition review. Change the label. Run a power automate flow. Deactivate retention settings. All right. And create label. So first of all, I have created a simple label. Okay. And I have added very basic settings to it. Now it says publish this label to Microsoft 365 locations like Exchange, OneDrive. When published, users can manually apply it to their content or set it as the default label for content containers like SharePoint documents, libraries, email folders. Auto apply this label to a specific type of content. Do nothing. Okay. So you can have the settings according to your organization requirement. So this is a label. After that, you should be able to see retention policies. In retention policies, you can have customized retention policy and it's very simple to set up. First of all, let me say testing retention policy, description, admin units, policy scope, you can add. Then we have adaptive and static. What is adaptive? Adaptive, it means dynamic or that is based on different attributes and properties. So whenever you will say, okay, you want to apply this retention policy, but first of all, you have to fulfill these conditions. Some attributes should be there, like department, site URL. This is adaptive scope. Then we have static. Static as in you will be manually selecting the locations. This will be fixed, not changing. Okay. So you can select the scope and you can select where to apply this policy. What should be the location? Exchange mailboxes. Then you can add or you can include or you can exclude specific mailboxes, SharePoint Classic and communication sites, OneDrive accounts. And also right now, we know that we have Copilot. So for Copilot also we have this. Okay. So you can simply turn on or turn off these features. Next, again the same settings, retain items for a specific period. Start the retention period based on delete items manually at the retention period. Whenever it is about to end, what to do? Delete items automatically or do nothing. Retain items forever. Only delete items when they reach a certain age. Different options are there, pretty self-explanatory. And next, my policy is created. So I can set up this policy. We do have different retention policies for exchange, for mailboxes. We call them as MRM policy, messaging records management policy. In that, first of all, we create retention tags. Three different types of tags are there. Default policy tag, retention policy tag, and personal tag. Okay. So here I can manage retention related settings over here. First of all, I can create tag. Different types of tags are there. Default tags are there. Okay. So in that, by default, built-in tags are there that you can simply go ahead and you can use this ready-made. Okay. Second thing, you can have customized tag. In that, name, description not mandatory. So these tag names, basically, those will be useful to your users in Microsoft Outlook or Outlook on the web, along with the retention period. All right. Now, how they look like. For example, let me quickly show you the Outlook account. So here, let me select any email. Okay. And if I navigate you to advanced action assign policy, I should be able to see retention labels: 1 week delete, 1 month delete, 6 month delete, 1 year delete, 5 year delete, never delete, use parent folder policy. So if I say one-year delete, and it should be applied over here. If you can notice over here, this is a personal tag. This can be applied on item level on a single email. This is something your admins can create and your end users can apply. DPT and RPT, it's opposite. You cannot apply, only your admins can create and only your admins can apply to your mailboxes. Okay, so you can create your tags. Okay, DPT as in the tag will be automatically applied to entire mailbox. Second, we have RPT, retention policy tag. This will be applicable for default folders like inbox, deleted items. In case you select this, you can have option to select different folders: calendar, deleted items, draft, inbox, junk email, journal, notes, outbox, send items, subscriptions, sync issues, right? Different types of folders are there. And third, we have by users to personal tags, by users to items and folders, the way we have seen over here. It was an example of personal tag. Okay, so you can select. After that, you can select retention period, for how many days you want to retain the item or you want to delete the item. Okay, you can enter the age in days format or never. You can also select this option, and then you have retention action, delete and allow recovery, permanently delete, move item to archive, right? And my tag is ready. Then I can set up retention policy. It's a one-step process, pretty simple. Simply you have to go to retention policy, and whatever tag we have created, you just need to include that tag within your policy. So whenever you click on tag option, it will show you all the available tags. Okay, built-in and customized one. So you can select your tag. This is the one that we have created. Next, and that's it. Our policy is created. Now you can navigate to Exchange Admin Center and you can apply this retention policy to your users, multiple users or single user. as an admin. All right. This is the concept of retention policies. You can retain or you can delete the content. All right. You can set it up from here. So here it says retention by using retention policies and retention labels. So organization can configure retention settings for the following outcomes: retain only, delete only, retain and then delete. Retention policies also retention policies apply retention settings to locations such as Exchange email, Exchange public folder, Microsoft 365 groups, Yammer messages, SharePoint sites, OneDrive accounts, Teams chat, Teams messages. Retention labels apply retention settings at the item level. So here you can see there is an example. First of all, we have first label policy A, and here we have label policy B. In that we have label 1, label 3. In that we have label 3, 4, 5, and this is applicable for different SharePoint, Exchange, OneDrive. It means single retention label can be included in multiple retention label policies. Retention label policies specify the locations to publish the retention labels. The same location can be included in multiple retention label policies. So this is how it works. Then what is the difference between retention policies and retention labels? What is the capability? Retention settings that can retain and then delete, retain only or delete only. This is available in both of them. Okay. Workload supported. So this is supported in retention policy, Exchange, SharePoint, OneDrive, Microsoft 365 groups, Sky for Business, Teams, Yammer. Here, this is not supported. Sky for Business, Teams, Yammer. Retention applied automatically, yes, we can have this. Automatically apply different retention settings at the end of the retention period. Here, yes, this is no. All right. Because this option is not available with retention policy. If you have noticed, we have this option while we were creating this retention label. Retention applied based on conditions. Here, yes, no. Okay. And same table continues over here as well. Retention applied manually. These features are not available in retention policy. End user interaction, persist if the content is moved, declare item as a record, start the retention period over labeled or based on event, disposition review, proof of disposition for up 7 year. Okay. And this is available with retention label. Audit admin activities, audit retention action, identify items subject to retention. So this is something what you can have and what you cannot have with retention policy and retention label. Next we have scopes. Scopes we talked about. Adaptive and static. Static, it means the fixed one. It does not use queries or it does not define any condition, attribute, anything. But adaptive scope, it uses a query that a user specifies. For example, you say, okay, if you are a member of HR group, then only this retention policy should be applied to you. Okay, so it is dynamic. It is not fixed one. It's dynamic because it runs daily against the attributes or properties or the user specified for the selected locations. And multiple adaptive scopes can be used with a single policy. This is about adaptive scope. Then we have static scope. It's limited in configuration in that it can apply to all instances for a specified location, or it can use inclusion and exclusion. All right. So these choices are sometimes referred to as org-wide, includes and exclude respectively. This is scopes. Then we have principles of retention. How it exactly works. First of all, retention wins over deletion. For example, you have two policies. Let's say I want to delete something. Let's say I want to retain something for 7 years. Okay, when item will reach to its age, like 7 years, and retain that. Okay, or delete when it will reach its 5-year-old. So in that, retention will win. Microsoft will try to retain your item. Then longest retention period wins. For example, you have retention policy of 5 years or 7 years. The longest will win. Explicit over wins over implicit for deletions, and shortest deletion period wins. So basically, in case you have two policies, delete after 3 years, delete after 5 years. So delete after 3 years will take the precedence, right? There are two simple rules always decide how long an item will be retained. First of all, retention always takes precedence over permanent deletion, and the longest retention period wins. The following rule determines when an item will be permanently deleted. The delete action from a retention label always takes precedence over the delete action from a retention policy. So these are the principles of retention.